PW writes, my question is regarding false and misleading advertising of movies. Sometimes the advertising of a movie suggests that an actor/actors is/are the star of the movie. Saving Mr. Banks, Transcendence more recently, or Executive Decision from my childhood, which I only saw because Seagal was on the poster. Why isn't there a rule that bounds the amount of advertising to the amount of screen time or something like this?
Yeah, false advertising in marketing. Look, I'm okay with a film marketing itself however it wants to be, as long as you don't start selling something that it's not. You know, I remember one of the first times that I really noticed this was, I believe it was either the second or the third Mission Impossible movie. It might have been the third, the one with Anthony Hopkins, at any rate. And you watch the trailer, without hesitation, we could pull the trailer down. If you could time it, I'm willing to put money down that Anthony Hopkins, you hear his voice speaking or you see his face at least half of that trailer. That thing is advertised as starring Tom Cruise and Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is maybe in 4 minutes of the movie, maybe less. I think there's 2 scenes with him in it. But you watch that trailer, man, it's Anthony Hopkins all over the place. I remember the other real big thing about a real misleading ad campaign, and I love Disney Studios, everybody knows that, but the worst offender of this I've ever seen was this children's movie they made called The Bridge to Terabithia a few years ago, which is, by the way, a very good movie, but it is not the movie they marketed. They marketed this movie, you know, really capitalizing on the Harry Potter thing and the Lord of the Rings thing about these kids find this magical kingdom, and it's, you know, that they escape to in the woods and things like that. And it looks like this happy magic kingdom adventure thing. Has nothing to do with the film. It's about this little kid whose other little kid dies. His other little kid friend dies, and him dealing with it. I mean, it's such a different. And the tragically ironic thing is that on its own, for what it was, The Bridge to Terabithia was a really good movie, but not the movie they advertised. I remember a lot of parents were really mad because they took their kids. This movie that Disney kind of advertises this fun, magical adventure, this magical kingdom in the forest, whee! And instead, they're having to talk to their kids about, okay, this is why the little girl died, and why the other boy was crying, and why the family was so sad, and they were like, some parents were really pissed, understandably so. But anyway, what are some really good examples that you guys can think of like marketing that just kind of misled the audience?
Well, I was going to say that movie that you brought up, I remember seeing the trailer with these little like weird puffy monster dog things and rings flying around, and that's why I didn't see it, because I was like, it's some kind of Harry Potter ripoff. If they made it all spooky and filled with death, maybe I would have gone. But that's obviously they weren't marketing it for me; it was for kids. But for me, I think it was Battle Beyond the Stars. As a little kid, I remember in Starlog, they had a poster for Battle Beyond the Stars, and it had all these weird aliens and crazy, some kind of weird dragon-headed monster creature that are not in the film. They're not in the movie. There's like, of the 9 things that are on this poster, 3 things are actually in the movie. And I remember being angry as a kid, like, even though I love the film, because it's a blatant Star Wars 7 Samurai style Magnificent Seven ripoff. It's just taking that story and throwing it in the future, and it's really well done. It's a fun film. If you've never seen it, it's on any one of the streaming channels. You can check it out. But as a little kid, I remember that disappointment of false advertising. I didn't realize what that was, but I was like, how come this little creature's not in it and the Dragon Man's not in? I remember like asking my dad, I was like, dude, is it a different movie? Is there another?
Did you take the wrong movie, Dad?
No, but I liked it. I was like, maybe there's another one. I was like, for me, that's the first instance I remember of false advertising.
Dennis?
Well, with Bridge over Terabithia, I remember I read the book as a kid, and I loved the book.
Right.
And so when I saw the trailer in the theaters, I was like, did they change the story? Because this is totally different. But in terms of the question, there's no rules for it. I think this question does have more merit than... Remember there was that one lady who sued over Drive? Because she thought it was going to be Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
So that is ridiculous. But what he's asking is a more legitimate question. Like sometimes they falsely advertise, oh, this guy's going to be in the movie a lot. I remember seeing Executive Decision as well and seeing Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal's all over the trailers on the poster. I'm Steven Seagal. And he thought that's it. He's gone.
Not a star that's missing, but I remember watching Joe versus the Volcano. It's called Joe versus the Volcano. they don't get to the volcano until the last like 15 minutes of the movie, and then that's it. And then I was like, this is not the movie that I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, I think there is a line, but the problem is it's so blurred what that line is in terms of advertising, because they want to take whoever the biggest name is, like Anthony Hopkins, let's say in Mission Impossible, and they want to pump it up and say, oh look, here's Tom Cruise and Anthony Hopkins. So I don't know, it's something that I think they have to be wary of.
Yeah, I agree.
As a side note, I have to mention some of the best 80s posters are made filled with things that were never in those 80s movies. Like the Metal Storm is one of those movies where you're like, the poster's incredible. Then you watch the movie, it's like, it's shot in the desert for $7 and everything's with rubber bands. But the poster's incredible. Metal Storm, check it out. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them.
Speaking of posters, like there was I think, was it an Italian poster? It was an international poster for 12 Years a Slave, and it has this giant head of Brad Pitt there.
Right, no, I remember
like,
that.
And it's like he's in the movie like maybe 10 minutes, and it's like his giant head on 12 Years a Slave. That to me is too misleading. I still saw one for District 9 in a different country, and they had the mech robot, and they just duplicated it. So it looked like there was an army
of the mech robots.
Yeah. Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.